Well, happy Halloween. Well, we're not quite to Halloween yet, but we certainly are to the fall season. So I thought it would be really fun to make a fall centerpiece. Now, this is something that you can use for 2 or 3 months as long as you don't cut into the pumpkin, okay? Now, I did cut into this pumpkin, so I'll have probably 3 weeks and then I'll have to toss it, but that's okay. But just letting you know, if you don't cut into it and you just cut the top off of it, then it would stay for months actually. So what I have done here is I have taken this pumpkin, we cut the top off of it, and then I just created a ledge in there so that this will actually sit in there and hold. Now, you can glue this in, and then when you throw your pumpkin out, you throw your decoration out as well. I choose not to do that. So I'm just going to set it in there. That's why I made that little ledge in there. I can literally take this off, put the whole thing away. Next autumn, just pop it onto another pumpkin, okay? So sometimes if you just work that way, it's a lot easier. Now, I had a problem because when I went out to try to find the picks that we use for decoration, the picks are, it's a narrow little stick with an end on it, and it's got a wire, and you wire it onto your floral and you stick it into here, which is wonderful. I went to 3 stores, none of them had it, so I don't know what's going on with those little sticks. So I'm just gonna try to do the best I can using a wire and just trying to stick right into the styrofoam. But this is something anyone can do. Now what I do, because for me it makes it easier, I have all of the things out that I think I might want to use. So over here I have the burgundies and all the coral colors. I've got the beautiful autumn leaves. I've got everything that would kind of speak of fall. And then over here I have much darker, but you'll know that these also are in the fall colors. Now, when I lived in Chicago, well, I lived in McHenry, which is a suburb of Chicago. So if anybody is from that area, and if you knew the farmer's market, I used to own that. So it was a cool restaurant. So anyway, when I lived there, we literally could go out in autumn and just pick all of these gorgeous purples and gold and reds right off of the trees and the bushes. But I'm in San Diego, we don't have that availability here. So I buy the preserved leaves, and they are absolutely beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this reindeer moss, and it's a really beautiful moss, but you want to cover up your work area. You don't want a big old styrofoam hunk sitting out there. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of hot glue, just a tiny little bit there, and put my moss on it. And I will do that on a few pieces here. A lot of it will be covered up with what we put on it. I'm just hoping that using a wire and just sticking it in that way is going to be acceptable. I've never had to do that before, but I've always had those little picks readily available. This reindeer moss is so soft. It's so nice to work with. And this is such a nice time. I mean, I picked up this pumpkin for $1.95. Ouch. And all of this stuff I've had left over from other projects that I've done. I used to have a floral design company, and I had that for many years. So this is all good fun stuff for me. Right now I do a lot more cooking than I do this sort of thing. But this is a nice diversion. It's a nice break. I love this moss. This is really beautiful stuff. See how it's going to be so much nicer than just having that old styrofoam sticking up there. If you've done projects for autumn, or you've done projects for Christmas, I'd love to see what you've done. Send me pictures, for heaven's sakes. I think we always do so much better when we're able to learn from each other. And what I I don't like setting people up for failure either, and I think that's really important. I saw, it was a few years back, and it was absolutely magnificent. And it was a hydrangea, preserved hydrangea wreath about this big. It was a Martha Stewart project. It was about that big. It was breathtaking. Well, I had my floral company at that time, and I could buy stuff at wholesale. And had I purchased the materials to make that wreath, it would have been about $300 my cost. So I think that if you're going to make things and kind of put them out there for other people to be able to participate, I think you have to be kind of fair. You got to be a little bit careful about it because not everybody has a Martha Stewart budget. It would be nice, but not possible over here. So my little pumpkin here cost me $1.95. My moss cost me $3. All of this stuff I had left over, so I don't even know what it cost. But this one is going to be very inexpensive to make, and it's so cute. I have made these individually using the little pumpkins, and I've used them for place settings at Thanksgiving, which was really cute. I liked it. Alrighty, I'm almost done doing the base. But that looks a lot better than that big old piece of styrofoam sticking up there. The main thing when you do something like this is don't be afraid of it. Just do it. The worst that happens is you put something in, it doesn't look so hot, take it out. That's the worst. But for the most part, by the time you get it all together, it looks perfectly fine. There's one last piece over here. And our work is covered. He's got his little hat on him. Well, don't they always say necessity is the mother of invention? I couldn't find those picks that I was telling you about, so I got a toothpick. I have 20 gauge wire, and I made my own. So now that I know I can do this with a toothpick, I'm probably going to save a fortune because those little picks can run up into some money for you. So I'm going to get a few of these ready, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Cutting with this very long grass because I think it is beautiful, and it just says botanical, so I don't know what it is. But I know that if you go to Michael's, they have this all year round. But it is a very, very beautiful grass. So I'm using a glue gun. Just going to glue a little bit on the bottom, just like that. And just start some placement. This is all going to be about your eye. So when you do this, just know that it's going to be an original. When I had my floral design company, somebody said, well, how do you know that it goes there? And I said, you just kind of feel it. There. Alrighty. Now I think we want to move into maybe a couple of leaves. These are nice and vibrant. The one thing that you really do need when you do this is you do need some wire cutters because these things get pretty gnarly. Kind of hard to. Let's see if I can just stick that right in. And I cannot. Okay. So we're going to have to try to, ouch! We're going to have to try to wire this. Wish me luck on this, you guys. That worked out just fine. Takes a little bit longer, but that's okay. We're not in a hurry, we're just enjoying the process. I'm cutting the end off of that little toothpick as I go. Primitive to have to do it this way, but at least it's going to get it done. I think we can go for a little color here. What do you think? I think fall is one of my favorite seasons. I think it's because of the colors. I love it. I love cooking at this time of year. So interesting because this is October 2020. So I don't know if you guys are having a shortage on your end, but we can't find pumpkins. We can find pumpkins. We just can't find pumpkin mix anywhere or pumpkin puree. So we can't find any of that stuff in order to make beautiful pumpkin desserts. And I've got such a good pumpkin pie recipe. It's a chiffon pie that I want to make for you. It's so delicious. And it's nice to have something different than just the typical typical pumpkin pie. But every store has zero availability. Zero. So I asked him what was going on, and he said, we just can't get it. It's the supplier. So this year, many of us might be making our pumpkin pies with real pumpkins, which I have done before, but it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. And then by the time you cut that thing, and they're hard to cut, they're heavy, they're thick. By the time you cut it, and you cook it, and then you have to put all your spices in it, you have to season it, then you have to bake it into your pie. It ended up tasting exactly like Libby's canned pumpkin pie mix. I'm never doing that one again. That's ridiculous. But it wasn't worth it to me. I think we might like a little gourd in there. What do you think? Got to hold him until he adheres a little bit because he's not holding on to anything. Come on, baby. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, it's terrible. But it's not. Just wait. Are you kidding me? Wow. You better be worth it, little flower. I think it will be worth it. So I have been just messing around here. So I thought I would give you a progression of where we are. It's starting to come together. I'm liking what it's looking like. I really am liking it. I think it looks very, very fall. These are mushrooms. Aren't they fantastic? Oh, I think they're gorgeous. So I'm just going to keep playing a little bit here, and I'll come back in a few minutes and show you more. All All right, this is coming along and I'm really happy with it, but when you put stuff in and it looks like it worked when you put it in and then you really don't like it, take it out. This leaf is just annoying the heck out of me. So I'm going to cut it right out of the arrangement. Okay, so everything you put in isn't perfection the first moment you put it in. Make adjustments, and it's okay to do that. As long as what you are doing is feeling really good inside, that's all you're looking for. Okay, what I believe we have done is we worked ourselves into the spirit of fall, and we did it in a couple of hours. So this is complete to my taste. And I think that's what's most important, is it needs to be to your taste. Nobody else's opinion should enter into it, but what makes you feel good about what you accomplished and what makes you feel good and expresses the season that is coming. Now, I would love to tell you this was a design I had in mind when I started. I had no idea what this would do, none whatsoever. So it's just about playing, just play with it. If it doesn't look good after you stick it in, pull it out and put it somewhere else or throw it in the garbage. Now, all designs end up having a Hollywood side. I consider this the Hollywood side. It has got more treatment, it's got more movement, it's got good color in there, but because this is going to be a centerpiece, it really needs to be beautiful all the way around. So even though I consider one side to be, in my opinion, my preference, to be the more beautiful one, it has to be all the way around. This took about maybe an hour and a half, and I think it took that long because I didn't have the right wire cutters, so it took me forever to do it. But probably if you put a good hour into it and you had the right wire cutters, it would be great. Or if you were fortunate enough to go out and just pick all the things in your beautiful Midwest and East Coast areas, you can create that fresh. Now, as I told you, when the season is over, I'm just going to pick this up. I'm going to put it into a bag, and I'll have it for next year, okay? So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this. A glue gun, glue stick, a little bit of styrofoam, magic can happen for you. It really can. So have fun with it, and I will tell you that I'm going to start doing hopefully a lot more for the autumn season. I have so many good recipes that call for pumpkin, so that's been a little bit challenging. And I made another centerpiece that is really pretty, and I'll show that to you as well and see if you might like that for your home. So many blessings to you, to your family. I hope all is well. I hope everybody is healthy, and I hope that you just have a really, really blessed day. So thank you for joining me, and please come back. Subscribe if you'd like. Thumbs up if you enjoyed, but more importantly, come back and visit. I like spending time with you. Bye.